Hey y'all, come on in. Welcome back. Well folks, it looks like the fur-lined moccasins are going to have to go back to research and development department for a little while. And where the dilemma is, trying to use my new stitching machine and learn about it, all it can do and everything. I mean, we were going along pretty good until I got back to the heel section of them. This toe piece and stuff like that is coming out pretty good. But what I found out, or what my wife and I found out, again, she's a sewing and quilting expert. But you can see back here at the back where I'm starting to make this bend around the heel. We're okay up to about here. With this upper portion of the leather under the fringe, it does not want to draw up. You can see where the stitching machine made a couple of misholds right here. Well, that's, yeah, okay. You know, you can say it'll be hidden by the fringe. Well, you know, you still don't want that in your project. So the dilemma is, how can I get this leather to make this sharp of a turn underneath that stitching machine? That's what it wants to do. You can't see it, but what it wants to do up on the top, it just instinctively, naturally wants to straighten back out. And that stitching machine is designed to penetrate up to 3/4 of an inch of leather. So you can just imagine the amount of foot pressure that thing has on it. But it won't let this upper piece of this leather, it won't let it draw up. It just keeps mashing it down flat, and this just keeps wanting to straighten out. So we've been scratching our heads on what to do and still save these. Now, to give you an idea of what I'll probably wind up having to do is, I got a couple of pieces of scrap leather here. And then I'll use the other sole for the demonstration here. But what I'll probably wind up having, now if I were hand stitching these things, what I've got is, I've got 2 of these. I just call them mouse picks for leather. But what you'll do, let me get it out. Oh, hang on. Sorry if I bump you in advance. Oh, where's my roller? Where's my roller? There it is. When you're hand stitching and you're laying out your project, what you'll do is you'll use one of these little rollers. I'll get it up here where you can see it a little bit better. But it's got little points on it, on a roller, spaced ever so often. There's different sizes of these rollers that you can change out in the same tool. But what you'll do, if you're hand stitching, is you'll come in on both pieces of the leather that you want to join together. You'll designate a starting spot. You can see where it came in. It identified where I would actually pierce that leather for hand stitching. And I'd use one of these little punches, and I'd go through there and I'd punch all those holes out all along through here. You do that on both pieces of the leather, but you also have to count your number of holes on both sides. So when you're making turns, like you're going around this curve right here, in order to keep it lined up, you're going to have to know where your needles are going through, both up here and on your bottom side. So you got to have a hole count so you can keep it lined up. Otherwise, you're going to get off. But anyway, that's what those do. I don't have any of the needles. I have some ordered. My wife was kind of like, well, let's just hand stitch the back side of it. Because what you can do with these things, I have two of them. What you can do with these things, I'll just demonstrate using this piece right here. Let's say I was coming around on a bend and I need this to draw up, this piece here to draw up onto this one. Say I need this very corner up here to match back here. Then when I was hand stitching, I'd have these things after I got all my holes punched. And I'd stay about 2 or 3 holes out in front of where my needles were. And what you can do is you'll put one on this side and then one on the other side. And you can just force that leather to go where you want it to go. But I don't have, using that stitching machine, I don't have that ability, because that foot just keeps wanting to mash it out. So we got to figure out some way to still possibly save these. As y'all remember, I added a piece of leather from the last time, that fiasco with the stitching machine, just so I could hide all of the previous damage, if you will. But if you've ever wondered how they make shoes, and I want to figure this out because I want to get into making custom sandals, moccasins, things like that. I can't get into boots because that takes stands and heavier machinery and stuff like that I just, well, first off, I just don't have the room for it. And then second off, the ones I've done in the past by hand, you can do everything that I show on my videos. I want you to understand. You can still stitch it by hand, even though I'm going to switch over to the machine. But if you want to, if all else fails, if you've ever wondered how a shoe gets put together, I'll just demonstrate it with this. Let's say this is going to be the top piece. Let's say it's going to be this piece right here. Now, if I wanted to run this through the stitching machine, I may still have to do this. It's just getting it all figured out. But if you've ever noticed on shoes that have been stitched up, how they've got one row of stitching that goes all the way around, and then they have this edge here looks like it's been curled under, which in essence it has been. But what they do is they'll take this piece of leather right here, and they'll take another piece of leather they'll stitch them together out here on the inside. I got it backwards of how it would be. Well, I did it before the well, how did I do that earlier? Maybe it was like this. No, maybe it was like this. Okay. But you'd stitch it on the opposite side, like so. Oh, come on. I had it earlier. It was so easy before I turned the camera on. I'll just do it like this. But I'll come in and I'll stitch it to the interior side of the sole. And then all you have to do is just stand your piece up, and you'll have this, you cut it a little bit wide, and you'll have this piece then sticking out here. And then you come in it'll basically look like that. And then you come in with your machine and you sew this piece then down to the bottom of the, or you actually sew it out here then to the sole of your project. But that's how they'll get, that's how they attach those pieces, the heel and the top portion of it. So we're going to try a couple of things. Judy suggested, well, let's come in and go on the inside. I'm trying to save these skins is what I'm ultimately trying to do. I don't want to have to buy new skins and just completely have to start over. But she suggested to come in with my scissors and just cut relief, just sort of a V periodically, and allow that leather to expand and do what it needs to do. That way I can still catch both of these layers in the stitching. The other option that we thought about doing was I'll come in here, and from here to the other side where it straightens back out, I'll come in and I'll just cut out this lower portion on both this back piece and then I'm double layered on the sole as well, and come in and just cut it, just cut that piece out where I can get back down to just 2 of these thicknesses of leather instead of 4. And see, but I've got to figure out, I may just have to order new skins and just stitch them together the way that shoes and stuff are made. Don't know yet, but anyway, I wanted to let you folks know that we're not going to give up on it. That new machine is going to allow me to even expand into areas where I have not gone in the past, just because of the how do I want to say this? Just the fight that it puts up, I guess, when you're doing hand stitching. Go in, punch all these holes, get them aligned, do your hand stitching, and anyway, so that's where we're at. I do have a belt project coming up, and I still want to also make some sandals, see how that goes. But I had a co-worker there requested a belt, so I need to get that done, and these are going to take a little while now. So just to let you guys know that we're not going to give up on this. I want to encourage y'all to not give up on your ideas and projects and stuff either. This kind of stuff will happen. It's going to happen. But the only way you're going to learn and grow and get better is to just work through it. That's what it's all about. But you can still have fun doing this. So with that, Judy and I like to say, don't be mean. If you're not willing to treat Jesus that way, then let's not treat each other that way. We're here to have fun, learn how to do some new things, different things, and make some stuff. So with that, till next time, adios.